In May 1967, the psychedelic music scene is in full swing with experimentation at the heart of music and fashion, with the counterculture flourishing. This pivotal period saw a surge in activity in London, mirroring the happenings in San Francisco. Bands like Pink Floyd were playing at the UFO Club. London streets, particularly King's Road and Carnaby Street, saw people wearing kafgans, floral blouses, and bold patterns, reflecting the changing fashion trends. Let's look back at some of the music and stories from May 1967 on our third episode of One Day in Music History.
The Procol Harum.
May 1967 saw the release of Procol Harum's first hit song, Whiter Shade of Pale, and is quickly climbing the charts. New Musical Express covers the song's rise, saying the song is going to be one of the chart sensations of the year, and pointing out that the record buyers are flooding the shops in incredible numbers for Whiter Shade of Pale. They weren't wrong. The song went on to be an enduring classic of the summer of love. Denny Cordell, who recorded Georgie Fame and The Move, produced the record and is interviewed saying, "About 18 months ago, when I was recording the Moody Blues, I was approached by a guy called Keith Reed, who showed me the lyrics of Whiter Shade of Pale. No music, just lyrics. I told him they were beautiful, but I could really do nothing for him unless he had music, so he went away. 6 weeks ago, he came to me and played me a demo of the song, just accompanied by piano. I liked it. The next thing, he came and formed the group. And when I heard them perform, they just blew my mind." He goes on to speak of how they recorded the song perfectly in just one take. The article describes Keith Reed as Hendrix-like with the same hair, wearing dark granny glasses. In 2 weeks, it reached number 1, where it stayed for 6 weeks. Its arrival at number 1 on June 8, 1967, is the same day that the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band topped the National Albums Chart, marking the start of the Summer of Love in Britain. Then, in December 67, New Musical Express readers voted the song Best British Disc of the Year. The Record Mirror interviews the Yardbirds, and they have a lot to say about how pop musicians are being attacked. Keith Relf says, "We believe in freedom within the bounds of common sense. This country is tightening up in so many ways. If the police powers continue to get stronger, we'll be in a police state." Jimmy Page continues this sentiment. "I was walking along the street laughing and joking with some friends, and we were stopped by policemen and searched, just for laughing and being happy. If you enjoy yourself these days, they think you're on a trip. But this sort of thing is happening to hundreds of young people, and that's the terrifying thing. 2 of my friends just got taken to a police station and stripped just because they were out after midnight." Relf points to all the money that's poured into swinging London because of the music and design, but they just want to focus on this bad image creeping in that is causing all the hysteria. Jimmy describes a raid on a club in London in which hundreds of police put up partitions and thousands of people were strip searched while they only found 3 people to have tablets. Probably not too hard to figure out what they were really up to. Be sure to check out this in-depth video on the psychedelic music scene, and I'll link it in the description as well. Sgt. Pepper is released the day before a New Musical Express story covering the Beatles' new look, a review of the album, and interviews with the band. The article says the Beatles showed up for a dinner party at Brian Epstein's house to talk to music journalists for the first time in many months, while pointing out their new flamboyant look. John is quoted as saying, "I've had a lot of time to think, and only now am I beginning to realize now many of the things that I should have known years ago. I'm getting to understand my own feelings. Don't forget, under this frilly shirt is a 100-year-old man who's seen and done so much, but at the same time, knowing so little." John regards Sgt. Pepper as one of the most important steps in the group's career. When asked about the Scottish sporran he was carrying, he said, "A relative in Edinburgh gave it to Cynthia as a present, and as there were no pockets in these trousers, it comes in handy for holding my cigarettes and front door keys." The article describes George sitting and nibbling on pieces of celery, wearing a non-violence button. He says, "Naturally, I am opposed to all forms of war. The idea of man killing man is terrible."
Picture yourself a boat on a river.
Critics praise the album for its groundbreaking songwriting, with songs like Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, with fantastical imagery inspired by Lennon's reading of Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland. Innovative production on A Day in the Life showcases Lennon's lyrics inspired by newspaper articles, including a report on the death of Guinness heir Tara Brown. In the song's middle segment, McCartney recalls his younger years, which included riding the bus, smoking, and going to class. Critics hailed it as a bridge between popular music and high art, capturing the spirit of contemporary youth and the counterculture. In May 1967, you can catch Jimi Hendrix, Cream, Move, and Pink Floyd at the Spalding Auction Hall on May 29th. Would definitely not have missed that one. Jimi Hendrix's Are You Experienced is reviewed by Record Mirror, saying Hendrix devotees, and judging by the charts there are a lot of them, will really dig Jimi's first LP, Are You Experienced. He described Foxy Lady as insistent clanging guitar set against Jimi's vocal, which sets the medium-paced blues song. One person touted as the inspiration for Foxy Lady includes Heather Taylor, who later married Roger Daltrey of The Who. Manic Depression is another harsh song with stark clanging guitar work. It is believed to be more of an expression of romantic frustration than the clinical definition of manic depression. In the midst of the rise of psychedelic music, there are still plenty of straightforward pop hits like the Hollies' new single, Carrie Ann, which is inspired by their crush on Marianne Faithfull. New Musical Express describes it as vigorously and stimulating bounce beat with a tuneful melody the reporter's been whistling since he first heard it. The Beatles are preparing for their first ever worldwide TV hookup with 30 other countries. However, the BBC has banned their song A Day in the Life on the grounds that it would have drug-taking implications, which the band hotly denies. Don't even think about heading out without stopping by Carnaby Cavern for a pair of granny glasses and a roll neck sweater. If we take a look at New Musical Express singles chart, we see a variety of songs, not just psychedelic music, in May 1967. Procol Harum enters the chart with Whiter Shade of Pale at number 11. Jimi Hendrix's The Wind Cries Mary at number 7. According to his then-girlfriend Kathleen Mary Etchingham, the song includes a line referencing an argument with her that involved broken dishes.
The broken pieces of yesterday's life.
The Kinks' Waterloo Sunset is at number 2 with Ray Davies saying that he wrote the song about his sister going off to a new world to live in Australia with her boyfriend. Pop music journalist Robert Christgau has called the song the most beautiful song in the English language. And at the number 1 spot is the Tremolo's Silence is Golden, where it stayed for 3 weeks. If we hop over to the US on the Cashbox singles chart, we find the same variety of sounds. Neil Diamond urges his love interest to reach her own conclusions about him on Girl, You'll Be a Woman Soon at number 10. Aretha Franklin's signature song Respect is at number 3, and the Young Rascals' first forays into the psychedelic genre with Groovin' at number 1. London had become the epicenter of the global youth culture, with its music, fashion, and art scene attracting international attention just as the Summer of Love was emerging. Psychedelic music offered an immersive, mind-expanding experience at this pivotal time of cultural change. Its use of rich, layered soundscapes, experimental production techniques, and the surreal imagery in the lyrics creates a sense of escapism and wonder. Well, I hope you enjoyed taking a look back at these fascinating times and fabulous music on One Day in Music, May 1967. Check out these videos linked here and in the description for more in-depth stories behind the music in this video. And keep an eye out for a very interesting story coming this weekend. And don't forget to become a member to access uncensored stories ad-free. Be sure to like and leave a comment. See you next time.